Welcome back to NVfineARTstudio. I'm Nina, and today we will be painting a landscape with the focus on the sky and with the focus on wet on wet. I've just done a video for YouTube about the importance of water in watercolor painting, and I think this demonstration will be perfect follow-up on that little tutorial on YouTube. But this demonstration was painted a while ago, back when I was just planning to start Patreon. So this originally was the first video that I wanted to post, but for some reason it didn't happen. I decided to start with a street scene. Nevertheless, this is a great demonstration. I found it actually by accident. I was cleaning up my computer, deleting all the things that I don't need anymore, just because I was getting my computer ready to be fixed. Some of the one of the fans got broken. Anyway, I was cleaning up the computer and I found this file, and I was really keen to have a look at it, just to remember how I was painting 2 years ago, and it was absolute pleasure to watch that video. And there is the interesting point is that how much time I actually spent thinking about the consistencies. Now, 2 years later, it happens in my mind much quicker, but for you, I'm sure it doesn't happen as quick, especially when you're painting wet on wet and when you need to monitor the wetness of the paper and the mixture consistency, how much water versus paint is in the mixture. So I'm not going to speed up, I'm not going to delete anything. I just want you to, I know it might be boring, but I just want you to spend a little bit of time thinking how much time I required to analyze the consistency, the mixture consistency. In regards to the paper, I pre-wetted both sides because I planned, first of all, that was my original technique. I was always starting with wet back and wet front. Later I moved on to using spray bottle, but 2 years ago I was pre-wetting back and front. Anyway, the major reason actually for pre-wetting it really well on both sides was to keep the moisture on the paper for as long as possible, because I was spending most of the time painting my first wash. So my first wash was quite long because I was painting the sky, and the time it required to put all the layers was quite significant. So I don't remember exactly, but I think it's around probably half an hour I spent on the sky, just on the sky, getting all these clouds done. And the paper was still wet. For all this time, the paper was wet. Not just because I pre-wetted the back and the front, but because I was putting layer on top of the layer on top of the layer. So basically, instead of me spraying, I was painting with wet mixtures, getting thicker and thicker and thicker, but still layer on top of the layer on top of the layer was keeping the paper wet. So please, when you watch this video, try to pay attention how much time I actually required to analyze the mixture consistencies, because I think in my recent videos I think much quicker, so there is not much time when I'm actually moving the paint on the palette thinking, is it the right consistency, is there enough water, is there enough pigment. So that's the main point, the main goal of this demonstration, wet on wet and analysis of the timing, because timing in wet and wet is the key point of success. 3 things actually: the wetness of the paper, the mixture consistency and the timing. Without the correct timing, even if you have perfect paper, perfect wetness of the paper, perfect consistency, if you apply it at the wrong time, it's not gonna work. So without any further ado, let's begin. And now in regards to glazing, I'm actually going to glaze these areas of the first wash just because it looks a little too... First of all, I don't really like the sharp edges on the corners, and I didn't really know, I didn't use spray bottle back then, so I didn't really know how to go about them. I wanted to soften them, and I decided that the best way to soften them is just to do glazing. And it was the right choice, because glazing is basically adding lots of water with a bit of paint to the area, and in this instance, glazing killed two birds at one stone. It added beautiful warmth to the area, saturation to the area, and also it softened the edges between the first wash and the second wash. So things like that, I don't think anyone can teach you or anyone can tell you in this particular sport, in this particular moment, what to do. So when you're in a situation like that, if you don't like something in your painting, just be brave and try something. And remember, water usually fixes everything. So if you don't like a difference between the tonal value, for example, over here, try to tone it down, or try maybe to spray it. Just try to listen your voice inside of you. If you don't like something in the painting, try to listen your voice, because if you don't give your voice a chance inside of you, you're not gonna develop. And the best way to develop is obviously on your own, because eventually you will stop watching demonstration, you stop going to workshops, you will try to do more things on your own. And the only way to develop is to start listening to your inner voice and to experiment, to be brave in trying new things. So that's why I always say, don't prioritize your final painting. Don't think about the success of the finished painting, because that's not the goal. Experimenting, having fun, trying new things, that's what the painting is all about. There will be hundreds and hundreds more paintings. Don't even worry about if it's a successful painting or not successful painting. Try to cherish every single moment that you paint, and obviously enjoy it, obviously analyze it, try to think what's right, what's not right in that split second. And in that split second, if you don't like something, try to fix it right there and right now. Because if you leave it, because if you think, I may not like it, I leave it like that, I'll come back, you lose the moment and you lose the spontaneity and freshness in your painting. And also, this is the greatest opportunity to learn. If you're brave to take that little step in that split second, in that moment, next time it's not going to be something new. Next time you already know what to do, if it worked or if it didn't work. And it will take probably a few more times, and after 5 or 6 times it's going to be your new skill. And here we are, the finished painting. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something new today, but most of all, I hope you enjoyed painting along with me. This is all for today. Until my next video, goodbye.